Hello, this is Deb Joy Smeak from Delight of My Art. Today is day 5 of 6 of our In Color Craft Along. We are crafting along with 5 of my demonstrator friends here, and today's projects are my projects. We each did 2 different projects for the 6 days, so we have a total of 12 things to make for you. So I hope you've been following along on all of these fun projects each day. But I'll link at the end so you can go back and watch yesterday's if you missed it. But today's projects are mine, so I'm excited to go through there. I actually have a bonus a bonus one in here for you, and I'll explain when we get to it. But if you are following along with your tutorial, you can go ahead and print that. We've got diagrams and lots of fun things in here. There's about 40 pages for all 12 of these uh, projects here. If you would like to have the printable tutorial, you can get it for $25, and you can go here it is, tutorial.orderwithdeb.com. There's a link there to pay with PayPal there, or you can place an order in my online store right now through June 8th. You can go to Order with Deb. That's just the same. Where's my right there. Um, orderwithdeb.com. You can place an order at over $50, and I'll just email it to you, and you can print that out. So that is the easiest way to get that whole tutorial. And so I have a fun clip here. This was included in our full package one. And I'll go ahead and scoot on over to our first project. When I saw this paper, I simply had to create something with this whole color wash. So I wanted to show this to you. Well, the whole package of paper just has this on the front. And it's so beautiful. This whole like rainbow sprinkling of flowers. And I said, I have to show all of this. And so this is the card that I came up with for this one. So we'll do this one first, and then we'll scoot on to my other one. And they're both fun folds. Did you expect any less? I gotta go. I gotta go big. So we will do fun folds for both of these. I'll turn my comments on so I can see. Oh, parts of the suites are already unavailable. Well, it should come back in stock. Yep, I can actually check on those if you remind me at the end here, or I can post on the Facebook group Stamp with Delight, or on my Facebook page, Delight of My Art. I'll go ahead and look up what is out of stock and when it is expected to come back into stock. But we do have a suite sale, a sweet sale. We have groupings of projects or products put together into what is called suites, SUITE, like a hotel suite. But those products all go together. So everything that's part of a suite, which is we've got a lot of suites, is buy one, get one half off right now. So you can definitely go ahead and go to orderwithdeb.com and check out all of the things. I would recommend, if you're placing an order, try to keep in your cart, if it's this for the sale, keeping things similarly priced so you get the most bang for your buck for those buy one, get one half offs. I did place a couple different orders so that I had bundles, and I placed that order separately than my DSP. And then I had another order for embellishments. Although I order probably a lot more than you guys do, but with shipping, it was still about the same, because once you get past $85 or so, the shipping's all the same anyway. It's all 11%. Okay, so let's go ahead and get down to the desktop here. This is the button. All right, I'm going to follow along on my tutorial here and let you know all of the measurements, which are listed in this thing. Okay, so we have this beautiful piece of designer series paper. Isn't it so pretty? So we definitely do want to be able to see all of it. And you got to see the card first, right? So we have this fun little pull tab over here, and it says, I appreciate you. We are going to open it up so you can see all those beautiful colors. Isn't this fun? Oh, should put my little banner away. Whoop. There we go. So we can see the whole project. Thanks, or I appreciate you so very much, right? I love this. So I definitely wanted to showcase the beautiful in colors here, all of the beautiful flowers. And then we have a new Secret Sea backing here, and that's the ink color that we're going to use for this card. We actually also are using Strawberry Slush and the Darling Duckling, and both of those are in colors as well. So I will go ahead and put this one together. We are using the Impressions A Bloom bundle today. And again, this is part of a suite, so it is part of that sale right now. And we're going to use this on both of the projects today. Yesterday, we used the same on both of the projects. That was the cheers and sips. For this whole tutorial, or all 12 projects, we're just using these two bundles and that's it. So definitely having lots of fun with the coordinating paper and everything with those two. So this is what we're using. And in this, I just want to point out too, that it comes with these awesome big ovals. And I wanted to make sure to tell you which ovals I used for what, because we have a few different ovals. Let me get this card back out here. So there's a backing here. This Secret C oval is a little bit bigger than the white one. So I cut out two of the smaller white ones, and the smaller of the two is the inside of the one that looks like it has a ridge on it. That actually cuts out a whole separate rim. It's a whole nother piece. So that inside piece is the smaller piece. And then this one is going to be the larger one. So I cut out the Secret C in the plain one right here. And then I cut out two using this one for the white. And then I cut out these cute little flowers in the Darling Duckling. There's two groupings of three, so I just used one of those. Nice and easy. And then I did do some die cutting for these leaves here. Those are, I'm going to use, there's two actually different kinds of leaves. Let me show you. There's this one and, there it is. I'm getting it from the next card. There's two different variations of these leaves. Can you see the difference? This one is the one that's the outline, and then it has the removable center where you can add that little, I just tape it in there, but it has this little detail on the inside. This one is the solid one. So it has this, so it's a little bit more difficult to remove from the plates because it has all this these cuts in the inside, but it does add a fun detail in there. So those are the two different kinds of leaves. So I think for this first card, I'm going to use the ones with the detail that's removable. And on the next one, we'll use the other ones because those match the longer piece here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. So this is the 12-inch piece by 5 1/4. And we're going to do some scoring here. We're going to score with it straight up and down. It does have a direction with this one because the flowers are up and down. So we're going to go to score at 1/2 inch. I should take my scoring board out, but I think you can use the trimmer just the same. 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 5 and 8. Hello, Nadine. Hello, Pat, Lois, and Becky, and Linda. All right, I'm going to say these measurements one more time, okay? Okay, so that was 1/2 inch, 2, 5, and 8. I know you can't see it on the paper, but and we're going to fold that accordion style. So the piece over here is going to be on the backing, so we definitely want to fold the next score line there this way. So I'm going to get out my bone folder here. And then we'll fold back again on the next one. I can feel it on here. That's kind of nice. And then we're going to fold back again. That should line up on that side there. And then we have one more tiny one right here, just to kind of give a hint of that pink. So you can see a little bit more color on the front. So we'll just go ahead and give that a press like that. And that's how you'll be able to see all of those. all of those colors. And then you can see a little hint of the backside too. So when we open this, you could see this over here. And if you want to, you could actually glue this whole thing together and just have it open like this. But I kind of like how it just kind of unfurls and shows all of it. We're going to glue down just this one little flap just so that we have a little bit more security on this, because we can still see all the colors even if we glue this one little flap down. That just gives us a little bit more stability over on that side. I'm going to get out my Secret C base. This is 4¼ by 5½. And since this is 5¼ tall, that should fit perfectly on here with a little bit of a border. So we're just going to glue this whole back side right on there. Let me get out my glue. Hello, Brenda. I know, I love fun folds too. You guys know, if you watch my channel, I'm all about fun folds. It's been exciting to watch other people put together my projects today. Because we've got 6 of us making all 12 of the projects. So I get to see what other people do with this one. If they're making it just like the directions or changing it up. All right, so there is, I mean, it's pretty easy fold. I like fun folds, but I like them to be quick and easy too. All right, so here is our Secret C, the plain one. And then we cut out the white one with the part with the border. So we're not using the border. We're going to put this one on here. But first we're going to stamp, because you always stamp first, because if you mess up your stamping, you can always turn it over and try again, right? All right, making sure. Hello, Pamela. All right, so we're going to do I Appreciate You in Secret C. And it's going to go right in the middle. So right across the middle there. I appreciate you. And then on the other one, we'll do so very much. Since we have the ink out, we may as well. Oh, that's not sticking to the block very good. I'm going to push that onto my onto my tutorial here. There, I'm going to smack it down a little bit. There. We have so very much. I kind of like to put that a little bit upwards of center, just so if you want to write something on there, then you have room to do so. All right, and then we have, I did do the flower already, but I'm going to stamp and show you how to do that as well. So I got my ink pad all done there. Let's put this piece on here, but first we want to add our ribbon. So we do have a little pull tab to make, and I want you to cut just a squish, that's a measurement, just a squish of ribbon, like 2 inches or so. And we're gonna attach those together, and they're gonna go between these 2 layers. That way you don't have anything kind of on the back side. Because of the way that this opens, you do see the back of this. So I did want to have that kind of sandwiched between those 2 layers. And you don't want it to stick out too far, because then it would be past the edge of the card. So let's go ahead and, why don't we do this? We can just kind of make a little run of this, stick it off the edge there. We can even add a little bit more. This is our Stampin' Seal Plus, super strong, like so. And then I can just add this with liquid glue. Brenda loves sunflowers, right? Aren't they pretty? You'll love our next one then. Well, it's kind of sunflowery, I guess. It's yellow anyway. All right, so then here is the front. And for this flower, we took the stamp set here. There's a detailed image and then a solid image for the flower and the flower centers and even the leaves, for 3 different sizes of flowers and 2 different sizes of flower centers. So I just wanted to point out what I did there. Let me get out my scrap paper here. I used Strawberry Slush and Darling Duckling. Again, two of our new in colors. And I took the detailed flower and I stamped that one full strength. Then I took the solid flower, stamped off, and you can cut this out separately and just have another color of flower, right? And then I stamped over the top without re-inking. So it's kind of a second generation. So now we have a two-tone flower with the same ink pad. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the flower center in that Darling Duckling color, the detailed one, and then we'll stamp off and then do the center again. So now we have two different color flowers. We could use both of those, I guess, but then I did the die cutting with that one. So with the magic of television, here it is, it's all done. And then we have our two leaves and then our three little pieces here. So let's go ahead and put these ink pads away. Okay. So the leaves are flat on the card and the flower is up on dimensionals. So I need to grab another sheet of dimensionals. Don't you love starting a new sheet of dimensionals? All right, I'm just gonna add a little bit of adhesive like this. I'll hover my flower here. I could add liquid glue, but it's gonna seep through these little cuts in there, so I didn't want to. I do what I want. All right, and then we'll get a dimensional. Hi, Charmaine. And welcome to everybody watching on the replay as well. That is so cute, nice and easy. And now with these, I think I want to add those with glue dots because they'll be easier that way. But first, let's add some of our embellishments here. We have the flower motifs, pressed flower motifs. So I'll add one in the center, the bigger one. There's a big one and the little ones. And then we'll just add two little ones kind of off to the side. Filling in a little bit more of the bottom half there. You could fill this with flowers if you wanted to, but I felt like this one, the designer series paper is kind of doing all the work here. And then I just kind of sprinkled a few of these cutie little flowers down here as if they were kind of embellishments too. So we're just going to add a few of those just with a glue dot. Makes it super easy. You could dot the liquid glue down there too if you wanted. If you don't press too hard, you can reposition. There, that looks good. All right, so when we put this on, we do want to add it only to this little flap over here. We don't want to glue this whole thing shut, right? So I'm just going to add glue. I'm going to hover this over here. So this is about where we want it, right? So I know I can see that it goes about between here and here. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue there, and then I'll add glue on the back of this side. Then I know that it's pretty well covered there. And we'll just center that on the card now. And my tab isn't past the edge, that's good. I'll just hold it there for just a few seconds so that it grabs on. There we go. So now we can add the inside piece, and we want to make sure that that is covered too when we put that in. So it should be pretty centered as we put it in there. We shouldn't be able to see it because it is a little bit smaller than that outline piece there. So, but we're going to add it with liquid glue. So in case we need to wiggle it, we can. But other than that, this one's almost done and we can move on to the next one. That looks pretty good. All right, so there is card number 1. Did I do all of it? I think I did. And then we can move on to card number 2. Card number 2 has two different versions. We're gonna make one today, but you'll be able to see both of the versions in the tutorial there. It's funny, I'll explain why. I Here, I'll put these off to the side. Now we are done with card number 1. This was card number 2. And so it's a corner, let's see, what did I call it? Corner open fold. Simple corner pop out card. Okay, so this is the one that's listed as larger designer series paper version. And so this is the regular way to make it. So when it's closed, you just see a little bit. And when you open it, then you have all of this room to write, but it's hidden by the front. So this is my fun fold for the second card here. Card number 10, really, in our series here. Isn't this beautiful though? I love this paper. I just wanted to use a bunch of the paper so that we could showcase that because it's so pretty, but then also showcase the dies and the stamps and everything too. So this was the first version I had, but I realized the designer series paper I cut here is larger than half a sheet of the designer series paper. And some of the other demonstrators that I'm working with had already shipped out their packets to their customers that purchased the whole packet from them, and they cut their paper in half so that it would ship easier, which didn't occur to me because I don't cut my paper. But then I was like, okay, so then I need to come up with another version of this that uses a 6-inch piece and figure out how to make that work. So here's my I feel like when you have to be creative and make adjustments, you get something that might even be cooler. So this is my version number 2 with smaller designer series paper. And so you can see that you can see more of the background here. So I thought, okay, well, that's not leaving you very much room to write anything. So I just made this another card so you could write on the inside. So I think this one's even cooler than the one that I intended, but I did include both of those directions for you. So we're going to make this one. And then this one's in the tutorial as well. Okay, so that's my little quip about all of that. So this is the card that we're making, and it's called the Simple Corner Pop Out Card. And this is what we're going to need. Okay, so let me grab all of my pieces here. All right, so we're going to start with, oops, we didn't need that piece. We're going to start with our designer series paper. Let me get my directions right. On our directions, if you get the tutorial, you'll see diagrams and how to fold this and everything. That's going to be super helpful to figure out how to put this together. But I'll do my best to explain it on camera here. Here is the trimmer. Okay, so we are going to score this at 1 3/4 on this side and up here. So 1 3/4, 1 3/4. So we're going to put it in here. And actually, we can decide whether we want this, which corner kind of pops out from the bottom here. I feel like this one has a little bit more going on than this corner. Yeah, we're going to do this one in the lower right. So I'm going to put this in at the 7 1/4 side. This is 7 1/4 by 6. Yes, 7 1/4 wide by 6 inches tall. So this, you could get 2 of these out of one 12 by 12 sheet now. All right, so 1 3/4 over here on the left-hand side, 1 3/4. And then we want to do the same along the top here. So we're going to turn it like this, 1 3/4. And then I'm going to get a pencil out, I think, because we want to actually watch this. This is going to be the easy way to do this. We're going to fold this over and make a little pencil line right there, because it's exactly the same measurement. 1 3/4 over from the fold line, and the same thing over here. We want 1 3/4 right there. And then we are going to just make a score line between those two marks. So I can't see this one very well, but it's right in that green leaf. Okay. So right there and right there. And then we'll erase our pencil lines. But that's an easy way to do that measurement. All right, so these two are going to fold over towards the front. And then this one, the diagonal one, is going to go backwards. So that means that will pinch like this and fold, and then we'll have this little square in the top left. Isn't that magical? All right, so we should be done with the trimmer, I think. The white piece, well, you'll have to score this piece, but this is the white piece that we're going to be putting on the inside. It's 3 3/4 by 10, and we scored it in half at 5. So that's a nice easy measurement. 3 3/4 by 10, score in half at 5. And so we'll just put that off to the side there for a second. I did forget to list the size of this piece on the tutorial, but I did list it in the direction. So this piece, we got one more piece that we're going to put on the top here, on this little corner. And again, you can choose which, I want this flower to kind of show. So we want to add that there. This one is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So on the measurements listing, it's not listed right here, but it is everything's in bold. That's different from these larger designer series paper version. So it's right here, 2 3/4 inch square. So that is going to go in this upper left hand corner. So I'm just going to add some glue real quick right there so we can add that to all the way flush to that top edge there. I hope everybody's having a great day today. All right, so here is the start of our card. We're going to need a piece of garden green. This one is one of our regular layers, 4 inches by 5 1/4. That's actually going to go on the inside here. So the back of our card is actually looks like designer series paper. So it's all patterny and fun. So this piece is just flat on the inside. Who else is a liquid glue fan? I like the wiggle room time. So this piece, before we glue it, we're going to do our stamping, but this is going to open from the left-hand side. So make sure you do your stamping over there, but I'm going to kind of place it here just to kind of view where I kind of want to put that stamp. And I'll get my garden green. This is the only ink pad we need for this one. Garden green ink pad. And we'll get our thanks. And this is the only stamping we do on this one, actually. It's a lot of die cutting. I'll show you all the little pieces that I got to use. I'm just going to hold that real tight there and put our thanks still kind of centered over here on the right side. Thanks. All right, that's done. We're done with the ink. So we can go ahead and glue this piece in because I didn't mess up my stamping. If you did, you can just turn it over and stamp on this side, right? So let's go ahead and put this in. Again, we have the seam on the right and it opens on the left, kind of backwards from what we normally do. But again, a nice, simple, fun fold, but a nice wow. That's my goal, making fun folds. Is make it easy, but make it wow, right? All right, so from your little baggie of pre-cut pieces, we're going to take this square. This is from our Stylish Shapes. This little square here. So that's going to go in the background right there. And press this a little bit better because it is still sticking up. We want that to sit flat a little bit better. Press those inside folds there. It's still going to pop. It's a popper. Good evening, Tamara. All right, so we have that piece there. So this one has extra decoration on it. And so I just wanted to show you all the different die cuts that I used for this one. It was a lot. So the flower here is the one that goes with this one with the detailed piece on the inside, but the other flower for the front is kind of a sleeper flower in here. And so this one actually has this funny die and then this one. It's got two pieces and then one piece. So I ran this through, both of those through twice to make this flower and just kind of built my own kind of wild flower. So the one on the inside is just the solid piece. And you can, if that looks a little crazy, you can do this one on the front too. This one just made it a little bit bigger and fun. So we will go ahead and put this together. Okay, so I have my pieces here. We've got two of each. And so I will take one of each of those and put them in a circle and put the larger center on here. This is in Timid Tiger, the detailed center there. I'm just going to add some liquid glue there and put it on the front to hold those together. And then we can add more pieces behind. So this is adding all of those together like that. Looks kind of like a crazy flower right now, right? We'll give that a second to dry because otherwise it's going to move as I'm moving it. So in the meantime, we can go ahead and tuck these little green leaves here kind of in the background. So I'll just add those with some liquid glue. Just little dots. There's some cut lines on these die cuts, and so I don't want it to leak out too much. So I'll put one here, kind of across the top. We'll hold that for a second. And then we can do the other one. So I did two of those. I'll have to ask you tomorrow which of the 12 projects was your favorite. There's some cute ones. You have to go back and see if you missed any of the days. We got 6 days, so today's day 5. Lots and lots of fun. It's been fun for me to do everybody else's projects. All right, so we're just gonna kind of angle that one so it fits on there. It's just sticking right underneath our edge here, like so. And so we've got, that just kind of adds a little bit of interest to the background there. And then this should be set so we can add these pieces to the background. So I'm just gonna, where'd my runner go? I'll just add a little bit of seal to the front center of that and then kind of build up my flower. Give it a little bit more depth, fill in the gaps, and then we have a little bit of a bigger flower, and then we can add our leaves behind. So I'm going to add this with dimensionals. Here's my new pack. Hello to Joy. I love your name. That's my middle name. All right, let's do it like this. It's kind of wider this way, so that kind of continues that line there like that. And then we can tuck 2 leaves in there. I'll just add those flat underneath there like this. And then this one is hiding in there. So when you have it closed, you can't see that flower, but the leaves are poking out. So let's go ahead and add all of these pieces together. Joy loves my name too. Thanks. I feel like what we do is a very joyful activity because it brings us joy to craft, and then we can send it to others and that brings them joy. I just love what we do. All right, so this one's gonna go just barely hiding right there, about right there. Okay, so whoop, I won't press it down so I can move it if I need to. There, that looks good. Okay, and now I can add my little leaves. And these will be poking out from our little extra corner here. Here we go. All right, and so the inside is free for writing. And we can add some of our cute little pressed flower motifs. And I saw Deborah's video earlier and I liked where she put the embellishments instead of on the center, which is an option. You can always just sprinkle them on the front too. So I'm going to do just that too. That one flipped over. Just like that. So then you can see this pretty orange color there, the timid tiger. Okay, so there is project number 2. Wow, I can't believe we're done already. I feel like we still have more to go. So there are our 2 projects for the day. Fit them all on camera there. All right, thank you for joining me today. We've got one more day tomorrow. We have day 6 of 6 for our in color craft along. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, a huge thank you to those that bought the full package. And I hope that you really loved your package and all of your little gifts in there. And again, if you would like that tutorial so that you can follow along and go back on day 1 through 5 and follow along for day 6, you can go and get that tutorial. I'll put that one up one more time, tutorial.orderwithdeb.com, or you can get it for free with an order at orderwithdeb.com. All right, I'll look at the comments one more time. Everybody likes the cards. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you making comments here, following me, and I hope to see you tomorrow. One more day for our in color craft along. All right, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.